Hello there. I have just got back from having a little play with the new Galaxy A36 and A56, their new mid-range phones for 2025. And they look pretty good. They're a nice refinement from last year's A35 and A55. The trouble is, right out of the gate, that we've got so many of these phones coming out. You've got Pixel 9a, you've got the Nothing 3a, you've got iPhone 16e. Actually, I don't know if the new iPhone 16e does go up against these phones, because the A36 will start at $399 in the UK, and the A56 will be $499. So even the higher end model is £100 cheaper than the iPhone, and Samsung have sweetened the deal because all Galaxy A phones this year will start with 256 gigs of storage. That's double what we had previously, and also double what you get with pretty much any other mid-range phone. So right off the bat, these new Samsung phones actually appear to be pretty good value. The first question you'll have though, I know I did, is which one's which? Because they are near enough identical. Both the A36 and the A56 share the same 6.7-inch Full HD plus 120Hz AMOLED display, which actually is bigger than last year, 6.6 now 6.7, but because they've slimmed down that bezel, it's actually within the same footprint. Both phones also benefit from a brighter screen. We're talking 1200 nits in high brightness mode, peaking at 1900 nits, whereas the previous generation topped out at 1000 nits, so it's 0.1 inch bigger and significantly brighter. The only way you can tell them apart, except for the slightly different colors, is that the A56 has a more premium brushed metal frame around the edge. The A36 has, well, plastic. Most important of all though, let's talk about the colors. And the A56 comes in 4 flavors. We have graphite, light gray, olive, and pink, all glossy and also a little bit fingerprinty. Although maybe the cheaper A36 looks a bit more tasty with this almost pearlescent design. We've got it in black, white, lime, and lavender. It may not have the fancier metal frame of its more expensive brother, but otherwise they're basically identical in terms of design, and I like the colors of the A36 more. So headline upgrades. We have a slightly refined design, it's thinner, it's lighter, we have a touch bigger screen. They've also slightly rejigged the camera module on the back here, still 3 lenses, although really it's 2, because the third is a macro and no one really cares about that. It's just there to make the camera module look more impressive, and so Samsung can say it's a triple camera setup. Both phones have a very healthy size 5000 mAh battery, and we also now get faster charging up to 45 watts, previously it topped out at 25. Let's talk about these cameras though, because the higher end A56 gets a slight bump in resolution for the ultra-wide 12 megapixels rather than 8, and also we have a slightly better selfie camera. The A56 does seem to be a noticeable step up, and particularly in low light and with portraits and tricky lighting, the camera quality alone, as well as the performance, could be enough reason to spend the extra 100 and get the 56 over the 36. What was pretty obvious though, even just from my short time with the phones, was not just the difference in the image quality from the cameras, but also the speed of the cameras. The A56 on the right not only opens the app a little bit quicker, but you can see as I'm just pressing the shutter button, it's so much faster to take that shot. The A36 is actually really slow. But let's talk about the performance, because obviously for mid-range phones, the specs, the chip they're using isn't going to exactly blow you away, but there's some interesting choices here. The A56, the higher end model, uses Samsung's own Exynos 1580, an upgraded version of the previous 1480 we had last year, whereas the A36 uses a Snapdragon 6 Gen 3, which really is quite a low-end chip, and actually is only apparently 8% faster than last year. The A56 appears to be a more significant upgrade. Both will play any game you throw at it, but for higher graphic settings and smoother frame rates, you'll want the A56. They both ship with One UI 7, which actually is a pretty big overhaul for Samsung software. Also, because of the more powerful processor on the A56, it does unlock a few extra AI features, and also some of the shared AI features will work a bit better on the A56 as well. Both phones get Google Circle to Search. Samsung's also upgraded the object eraser and the creative filters, and there's also a new auto trim, which basically uses AI to edit some of your photos and videos together, and also a new best face option borrowed straight from the S25 series. And Samsung promised 6 generations of full OS updates. That's up from 4 generations with the previous A series, so some really good support there. So first impressions of the A36 and A56? I mean, there's nothing really to get excited about. These are fairly budget mid-range phones, and as I say, they've got a lot of competition from Pixel 9a to a lesser extent iPhone 16e and the new Nothing phones. But for 400 quid and 500 quid respectively, I think they're pretty good phones. I think I would probably go for the A56 between the two. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but then as I say, you don't have to pay extra for more storage. You get 256 out of the gate. But if you haven't already, make sure you do hit that subscribe button and ding that bell and all those annoying things, because I'll have a full mid-range buying guide and put them all side by side to see which one actually is best, sort of in that price range. very soon. Any questions about these new Samsung phones? Drop a comment below and also let me know what you think of them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.